Hi, I'm Trevor, and this is Raised on Film. Today I want to talk about two films that utilize nature as a force. Setting is one of the fundamental elements of storytelling. You can't have a story without one, or many. Some films are barely more than characters coping with or trying to survive a setting. But a great setting can act as an extension of the characters, or the themes of the movie, or even become a character itself. Today, let's see how a perfectly crafted setting can do all of the above to create something wholly singular, which jumps off the screen and embeds itself in the minds of the viewers by looking at the films Seven and The Thing.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Both of these films are cut from a similar cloth. They're both made by visionary filmmakers, have some of cinema's most visceral imagery, deal with themes of existential dread and nihilism, and explore how characters cope and respond to worlds beyond their comprehension and control. The Thing is about a team of a dozen or so men living at a research station in Antarctica who are beset upon by an alien life form which kills and then perfectly replicates its prey. Seven is firmly rooted in our world, albeit a heightened or arguably lowered version of it. The film follows two detectives who must track down a serial killer whose modus operandi is the seven deadly sins. The setting of The Thing, Antarctica, is one so hostile that it threatens the very lives of the characters. Once the alien infiltrates the facility, their lives are threatened from without and within.
First goddamn week of winter.
The characters in the film take increasingly desperate actions in order to save themselves and establish some form of control. They blame and accuse one another to avoid suspicion. Dr. Blair attempts to destroy the facility at the expense of himself and the entire crew in order to destroy the reach of the Thing. MacReady takes control by holding his fellows at gunpoint, making threats, and attempting to tease out the Thing in one of the best scenes in cinema history. The crew tear themselves and the facility apart, and the film ends with MacReady and Child, who may be the Thing, I don't know, there's a million YouTube videos you can watch about it, laying in the snow as the station burns down, their deaths imminent, and finally, at long last, they both come to accept that the world is beyond their control, and any attempts to tame it are futile. Seven isn't as interested in fear as much as dread.
Honestly, have you ever seen anything like this?
The film is set in a nameless, dilapidated, crime-ridden American city where every day is bathed in heavy rain. The rain, unlike Antarctica, is not a threat to the lives of the characters, it is only a threat to their comfort and the comfort of us, the viewer. The rain is not going to stop our characters from going about their days or doing their jobs, but it is going to suffuse everything they do with a gross weightiness, which is inescapable and emphasizes the terror of everyday drudgery. Even when sheltered from the rain, it seems to permeate the very celluloid of the film, like in this scene. Ugh, you can almost taste the humid muck coming off the griddle. Or inside Mill's apartment, which shakes every 5 minutes due to passing trains. The world of Seven is constantly oppressing the characters. The detectives quickly find themselves outmatched by the killer and understand that with all their knowledge and experience, there is nothing they can do but come to work and wait. They, and by proxy us, must pass the time by meditating on the brutality of the crimes that have come before and dreading what's next, leaving us to stew in the darkest reaches of our own psyches. It's so effective at doing this that we never see any of the crimes take place, and we really only see one dead body. Kinda two. Yet still, the movie is considered by some a horror, in the same genre as films like Friday the 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Thing, all of which pride themselves on showing cool and brutal gore. Awesome. The aforementioned horror films all rely on some unstoppable force of evil whose very comprehension is beyond us. The alien in The Thing is so virulent that despite being isolated at the bottom of the Earth, it poses a potential threat to the entire planet. So, in the end, when MacReady and Childs freeze to death, they have committed a heroic act and potentially saved the entire world. For now. But in 7, Somerset asserts that this violent, ugly, dreadful world we're slogging through is only such because of man.
If we catch John Doe, and he turns out to be the devil, I mean, if he's Satan himself, that might live up to our expectations, but he's not the devil. He's just a man.
And that the furthest depths of indignity, indecency, and brutality are all more easily attainable by man than by some alien from another world, which is motivated purely by survival. John Doe is motivated by something only a human could devise.
And what I've done is going to be puzzled over and studied and followed.
As the events become more desperate in The Thing, Antarctica is plunged into a dark, foreboding winter. After 6 drenched days, 7's final day is suspiciously rain-free.
Long is the way and hard that out of hell leads up to light.
The culmination of 7 is much more intimate than The Thing. The world is not in danger, and in fact, the only person whose life is threatened is the villain, and he is unarmed and restrained. Yet somehow, when John Doe meets his end, it feels cataclysmic. Why? Because while Detective Mills may still be alive, his soul has been destroyed. We have not witnessed the death of man, but the fall of man, which is infinitely more tragic, effective, and cathartic. It supposes that death is a merciful fate, and those of us who live, that is, all of us, are the real victims, forced to cope and live in an uncaring, ruthless world. Fuck. Somerset has resigned himself before the start of 7 to the belief that the world is a bad place and he wants no part of it.
I just don't think I can continue to live in a place that embraces and nurtures apathy as if it was a virtue.
In the end, he learns that while the fight to do good may be absurd at its core, it's still worth fighting. The Thing takes the nihilistic approach. In the final moments, Macready, after all his fighting, sets it all aside and decides to share a drink while watching the world burn. While both of these films are incredibly bleak, they're great watches. They effectively utilize the setting to bolster their themes to astounding effect. They offer thrilling sequences, top-notch gore, great characters, arguably Morgan Freeman's best performance, and provide effective and logical ways to cope with a world beyond our comprehension and out of our control. Hey, thank you so much for watching Raised on Film. If you like what you saw, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. What are some settings in films that you thought were really great or impressive or affected the story in some way? Let's talk about it in the comments. Alright, talk to y'all soon.